Chaos, this is Brandy and welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. Today's reading is, what do the people you date think of you? We have 5 piles to choose from as always, but before we get started, I do want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. The links will be down below. Now let us get into this. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. So let's not waste any more time and just sit back, relax, and choose. Hey, pile number 1, let's get into what the people you date think of you. And this could be people you just go on casual dates with. This could be people that you have more long-term committed relationships with. It doesn't matter. It's just a general overview of what people you date think of you, since we're all in different places in our dating lives. So we have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the 5 of Swords, the 2 of Coins, and the 3 of Wands here. Now this is a very interesting pile because we have so many. We have 2 aces. I guess I shouldn't say so many aces, and we have like a lot of beginner cards, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right? I was gonna say 4, but 1, 2, and 3. And so it kind of represents feeling like things are a little bit more light and less deep when it comes to what they're thinking of you or the impressions that they make. Maybe they don't feel like they know you on a deep enough level. Maybe they feel like they're just getting to know you. So maybe if you're someone who dates more casually, like you have like 2 dates with this person, 3 dates with this person, 1 date with this person, etc., things like that. That could be why we have so many early cards. But if you're in a longer term relationship, then it could also just be like, this feels like I'm constantly learning more about this person. Like there's always something more to the story. There's always something I'm learning. There's just so much to discover about who you are. Like you just have a very deep, intricate personality that just keeps growing and expanding, and you're very much like that onion with tons and tons of layers, right? So that could also be the impression that these people are getting. Now, the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords, like I said, they're representing those new beginnings and new fresh starts. And so when they come to you, when they date you, they feel like, okay, this has potential to grow somewhere. Most of them will think that. Most of them think that this has potential to grow in passion. This has potential to grow in intellect. The conversation, maybe it starts off a little slow, but it's growing. You have a vibe there. The Ace of Wands, like there's a little spark there, a little sense of attraction, and the passion can grow. It can become much deeper. You know, a lot of people, their passion grows the more that they get to know people. That's not unusual. Sorry for that cut off. The new battery's already on the way. Anyway, I forgot to reverse this because it's following a sword, and that is a pentacle. But anyway, let's get back to your reading. So we've already mentioned how this person feels like you have a lot of passion. You're smart, you're intellectual, you are somebody who is sharp, honest, creative. Did I say passionate? I think I might have said that already. Someone who is like a go-getter, someone who gets like, I gotta get out there, I gotta do it. I have the energy, being very dynamic, and just generally they feel like their interactions with you can lead to somewhere potentially that can grow and develop into something, you know, great. I will say, however, there is a side, because we have this 5 of Swords, and 5 of Swords represent conflict, and it's following a reverse 2 of Pentacles, a reverse 2 of Pentacles situation. This could possibly also mean that they feel like you're the type of person who really wants to get any conflicts or challenges or awkward conversations out of the way. I think they feel like you're someone who's very like straightforward, who wants to like just immediately eliminate tension, kind of like just get to the point, like the deal. You want to get straight to the deal breakers, get to the points that can really cause contention within your relationship immediately. And I don't know if there's necessarily anything wrong or whatever with that, but the people you date may feel like it feels a little awkward sometimes. At least maybe for them, maybe because they weren't expecting it. That's maybe why we have this Two of Pentacles reverse, because the Two of Pentacles reverse can be like, this is unbalanced. This feels like a little bit like it's shaking me off my kilter. I feel a little bit disjointed. I feel like I'm caught off guard. Like I've missed something, like we've missed a step or something like along the lines of like, it just feels like it just came a little bit out of nowhere. And like I said, I don't know if this is really what you're doing or not doing or whatever the case may be, but maybe that's what it feels like for them and their perspective. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I just know whenever I see a Five of Swords, it's not exactly like sunshine and happiness card, right? And then the most positive interpretation I can give is that you're definitely someone who's not going to shy away from conflict and things that may be potential deal breakers that may cause instability within your relationships, or could cause like a communication breakdown or something along the lines of that. This is like saying, okay, I'm not someone who's afraid to tackle these challenges. I'm not afraid to stand up for myself and my boundaries and my belief. And I'm someone who is strategic in the way that I communicate and the way that I think and how I want to express myself, and I want to cut through any confusion and any deceit, or even if it causes some discomfort. And I think that's what this Two of Pentacles feeling is. Like upright, it's like all fun and relaxed, and then reverse position, it's like, okay, this is a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know if I really like this. Or it's like, okay, fun part's over. Time to get down to the nitty gritty. Like, do you have kids? What's your job? Where do you live? Like, you might be coming with that kind of fierce energy. And so it just lets me know that they feel like you're not someone to keep things light. You're very much like, let's get to the point. Let's be about my business. Let's do this, right? Like, we're really going to jump in here, okay? And then you can be very like quick to set your boundaries up. Like, I won't accept this behavior. I won't tolerate this. And it might just be like date one or something. And so they may feel like, okay, we missed kind of like the little fun kiki part, like the kind of witty banter back and forth. And we kind of went straight to like, what are your long-term goals, right? So that's kind of like the feeling of the people that date and what they think of you, and they're just like, oh, okay, a man or a woman about their business, right? But it's good because like you do clear the air, and they will get some sort of like a better idea of who you are as a person. Another thing this can possibly be, and this may just be for like a small pocket of you guys, and who knows if this is even a real concern or if this is like based in reality. But sometimes I get the Five of Swords and this Two of Pentacles to represent sort of like struggling to find balance when it comes to finances. Five of Swords can represent a lot of like strife, conflict, things that are just going awry and having a lot of issues with various different, people or things, etc. And then the Two of Pentacles can be like, okay, I don't think I have enough money for this bill or this area of spending. Maybe I'm buying too many like pairs of shoes, or I'm spending too much on this area, or maybe I really didn't need to go out to eat for dinner. I could have stayed in and saved some money. Like, whatever the case is they may feel like, your spending is a little bit, unbalanced. Now, I'm guessing this is more so for maybe like people you're in relationships with. I've definitely been questioned by people I date on my finances, because like people don't know what you spend your money on. They don't know how much you have in savings and etc. or what's going on. And so they may have some questions on like, how is this person affording this? Where's this person getting this money from? How are they balancing their finances here, etc.? Like, they just don't have an idea. And so they may question like your financial situation. Don't know if that's all of you or just like a small pocket of you, but I have to mention it because it would be weird not to just see the Five of Swords, which is like this discord card, and Two of Pentacles, which is about like finances and finding balance and etc. And not saying anything, right? It's just strange. It would be strange of me as a reader to not mention that. So they may feel like, okay, you're neglecting certain things that may be a priority, but like I said, they don't really know your financial situation unless you let them in on it, right? So they're wondering about that. They're wondering, you know, how you're spending your money, where it's going to, how you're managing to be responsible when it comes to your assets and the different areas of your life and prioritizing your needs, okay? It may feel like you could be somebody who is struggling to prioritize your needs. It could be like that you maybe work a lot, and then you may neglect maybe personally yourself, or vice versa, where you're focusing more so on yourself and you're just really not focusing on building like a career, etc., things along the lines of that. Or whatever the case may be. Sometimes I get the Two of Coins to represent like relationships as well. It could be like partnerships, family, whatever the case may be, where if you're like, I'm focusing a lot on helping my family and I'm neglecting myself, or I'm focusing a lot on my kids and I don't have time for me. I'm focusing a lot on my friendships and I don't really have time for me, or vice versa, where I'm focusing on myself and I don't have a lot of time for my friendships. I'm focusing on, you know, it just can go either way, but they're feeling like you're somebody who is trying to find that balance when it comes to making time for the people around you, making time for yourself, making time for your work, making time for, you know, all the things that you need to take care of. And I think they can see that you may have a little bit of frustration within that area, managing tasks and responsibilities and along the lines of that. Oh, man. So they do have some concerns, the people that you date. That's what they kind of see. And then also, this may feel like, for a small pocket of you, this could be, you have a way of thinking where it's like, it's either my way or the highway. And this is a small pocket. And then, or the other part of you guys may feel like, okay, I'm going to just say, be more so of like a yes person. Just kind of say yes to everything. Because sometimes the Two of Pentacles can represent struggling to compromise. But then also it can represent wanting to be close really fast. If I can say that here. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to say that. But the Two of Pentacles, when it's upright, it can represent long distance. When it's reversed, it can represent, you know, very short distances and coming together really fast and sort of like speeding along the process when it comes to developing and growing within a relationship. Like I said, there's an aspect of your personality that just wants to get to the nitty gritty. Like you really want to get to like, what's going to be the deal breaker in this situation? How can I like streamline this process and make things go a little bit more faster so I don't get hit with a bunch of different surprises or something along the lines of that. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to put myself in you, like possibly some of you guys' heads. Like some of you may be thinking in this way. How can I make this, speed this along so that I'm not like disappointed 5 months in advance and I can learn about these things, you know, maybe in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever. Something along the lines of that. And so it's about like wanting to come close really, really, really fast, right? And so they may feel like that sort of energy from you. All right, let's move on from that situation. Just had to throw that in there. This overall, guys, don't take this like this is like a bad thing or a good thing or whatever the case may be. This is just them trying to like really suss you out, get to know you, and really understand your personality. Obviously, they really do find you to be like a smart, intellectual, creative, outgoing person, and someone who can be so direct and so honest and just so, what's the word, like very straight up, like just very, very much like, I'm telling you the business, I'm letting you know who I am, I'm not hiding, I don't need to hide, like I am who I am, right? That's the type of energy you're giving, right? It can be very uncompromising sometimes, maybe for some of you, but you're at least very straight up. Let's get into this Three of Wands here because we've kind of like neglected it on the end. So the Three of Wands can be about someone who's very creative, who's very unique, who likes to do their own thing, who is very patient too. So we have this energy of you being someone who is planning for the future, who is thinking ahead. And I think maybe this Two of Coins followed by this Three of Wands Three of Wands is kind of representing you trying to figure out the best balance for you so that you can create the future that you would like for yourself, trying to figure out the best way to invest your time and invest your efforts. And that can be a difficult thing to figure out. We're all kind of constantly trying to find that balance, or at least most of us who are focused on growth. And I think if you're in the tarot, you're probably focused on growth, right? So you're trying to find the right balance to focus your energy on the best way to go about creating your vision, being able to, you know, navigate the speed bumps that we go across in life, or the car crashes and things like that. When things go awry, or if you're in a situation where it feels like there isn't much flexibility, you're just trying to figure out, how can I navigate this so that I have the best possible bright, wonderful, amazing future that I can have. So they do feel like you're somebody who is strategic, who is, you know, overcoming obstacles and looking to overcome conflict, trying to find the right balance and expand into a brighter future despite the circumstances. So what my full interpretation is that they feel like, even though you might currently be going through some difficulties or struggling to find balance or dealing with some conflicts, or even if they feel like that's like your communication or what's going on with you two right now, like maybe the communication isn't as smooth as they would like it to be, they feel like that it's still potential to go somewhere. Like this can still grow, this can still develop into something beautiful and amazing. It's just that you two need to work together to sort of overcome any differences and be aligned within your visions. And I think that's generally what the people you date are thinking. Like they're keeping the broader vision in mind, the long-term goals. They feel like maybe there's a few small things or things that you guys may not be clicking with or disagreeing on, or may have some issues with, or something along the lines of that. But they feel like ultimately that your goals could possibly align, and that you may have the same like long-term vision when it comes to comes to your lives. They feel like you guys both picturing the same sort of, maybe you both want children, maybe you both want to live in a bungalow, I don't know. Maybe you both would love to have a nice wooden house in the countryside. I don't know, but whatever the case may be, maybe they feel like overall your long-term goals are like kind of like meshing together, but the way you guys go about maybe achieving them or getting to them, or even small matters when it comes to things like maybe you guys live a little bit further apart. Maybe that's a challenge and that happens. Or maybe it is that they have a job that requires them to travel and they can't spend as much time as they would like, and that becomes part of the challenge. But overall, you guys have the same goals, right? So whatever the case may be, they feel like that you can overcome your challenges that you may face together. Okay, and overall, the people you date are like mentally prepping for a future together with you. Like they feel like you're somebody who has like the long-term potential and the things that they need in a partner, or that they're possibly looking for. Okay, that's what I have. That's what the cards are saying here. And then generally the focus here is just on your individuality, your creativity, your fresh perspective, your ability to set clear goals, your ability to keep an eye on the bigger picture. They know you're thinking of the bigger picture and they're thinking of the bigger picture, and they love that, and they feel like they can connect with you over that, and how that you both can see things developing in a way that is peaceful and wonderful and exciting for the both of you. Maybe you both love traveling too, because sometimes I get the Two of Coins to represent distance, as I mentioned before, like long distance and everything. And I also get the Three of Wands to represent like venturing out and traveling and going places. So it's possible that you both have that interest, and that's one of the things that you have in common with the people that you date, just being excited to go places and try new things and being open-minded to different experiences. That's something that is possible. And so they may love that you have that in common. Generally, the people you date feel like that you just have maybe similar hobbies or similar interests, or even maybe similar taste in shows or entertainment, because we have the two fire cards coming up here, this Ace of Wands and the Three of Wands. And generally those connect to like passions and interests and things that are exciting and fun. Like I said, they may feel that you have that in common. So that is all I have for you, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and au revoir. Hey, pal number 4. This is what the people you date think of you. We have the Queen of Cups, the Fool, the Magician, the Knight of Swords, and the King of Cups. Okay, so right off the bat, we have 2 cards representing emotional maturity, abundance, and fulfillment. So we know that the people you date, what they think of you is obviously along the lines of understanding that you have a huge empathetic emotional landscape. You come off very mature, very emotionally intelligent, and very intuitive. Your intelligence socially, as well as I said, emotionally before, is something that is ideal. The men or women that you date, or, you know, they, them, whoever that you date and whatever they identify as, they see you as someone who is caring, nurturing, and emotionally fulfilled and abundant. This is a great and wonderful card to have because it shows off that you are a compassionate individual and someone who has the ability to be understanding towards other people, which is obviously ideal within a partnership. They find that you are somebody who is very accepting, someone who can be very loving, someone who is just understanding to the needs of your partners or even friends, family, whatever the case may be, but they just feel like you are a great listener and someone who they can feel like they can open up to, because the King and Queen of Cups are just generally cards that make people feel comfortable, make people feel accepted, make people feel like, wow, I can just be at home with this individual, no judgment. In this area, this is a safe space. So you give the people that you date a safe space. And then not only that, but they feel that you have a strong sense of empathy and self-compassion towards yourself. They don't see you as someone who can be negative thinking or critical. And they also may find that you are very open and vulnerable with them. So, you know, kudos to you, because vulnerability is probably something that most people need within a relationship to make it work. And thus they find you to be very emotionally strong and even just a very sensitive person and attuned to not only your emotional needs, but the needs of the person in which you are dating. And I should have clarified this. When I say dating, this could be long-term, short-term. This could be going on dates. I guess I'll do that with every pal. Now, it doesn't have to be some sort of long-term relationship, because we have people who are late bloomers. We have people who are married. We have people somewhere in between with their experiences when it comes to dating and romance. So this can apply to any of those scenarios. The people that you are interacting with, they just see you as being very emotionally supportive, very honest, and very differentiated when it comes to your understanding and your reaction to them. They do not see you as a very reactive person. And what I mean by differentiated, I mean that, like, if somebody else gets upset and starts yelling and screaming, you're not the one to do that. You can sort of remain calm. And what I mean by reactive is obviously what I just described, someone who can be like quite triggered easily and thus kind of like go off of their emotions. Okay. And they also see that you're someone who doesn't delve into or lie in these emotions like shame or, you know, guilt or something along the lines of that, you're able to use those emotions and say, okay, that's not a situation that I'm proud of, but I will learn from that situation and grow and develop and become more. So they really feel like you are somebody who's very dedicated to personal development. And maybe you've been to therapy, maybe you haven't, but either way, it shows that you're someone who just has a great, deep emotional world. When we have this sort of next to the Fool, I got the Fool to represent quite a few things, but since it's following this Queen of Cup energies, it kind of like plays off of what I was saying before with the Queen of Cups, where it's talking about a new and fresh emotional landscape that you are putting yourself out there as. It represents feeling like this is a fresh new start when it comes to empathy and fulfillment. Like they don't feel like you're somebody who might be jaded in a way. They feel that you're someone who's still able to open up and not be defensive and let your walls down. And to them, they feel like it's a little bit more refreshing. They're like, wow, this person seems almost like a newborn in a way, where you come off like so welcoming and receiving, especially in your dating interactions and communications. They feel like you're somebody who just has this more fresh perspective, that you're willing to take more so emotional risks. They understand that you're someone, even if you're scared of rejection, you're willing to just put yourself out there and just let things rock, I guess. It's also like there's a bit of like surprise, or there's a little bit of element of surprise, I'm gonna say, when it comes to that, because not too many people have that sort of emotional threshold, rightfully so, because it can be scary to open up and truly be yourself and be honest and just, you know, say, hey, this is me and this is who I am. And so to them, they find it like really like, wow, this is this is not what I'm used to. This is so different. This is honestly, it's very unexpected. They feel it's a very unexpected energy. It's very much like optimistic. It makes them feel like there's a lot more to look forward to when it comes to their interactions with you. I'm sorry, my voice is cracking. I might need some water. There's a lot more to look forward to when it comes to their interactions with you. That you could be so open, that you could be so, you know, maybe trusting, or not trusting in a naive way, because obviously with the King and Queen of Cups here, there's an element of like understanding and emotional growth that you like, you can't just trust anyone blindly, right? So, and especially since it's right next to the Magician, which represents sort of intellect, they understand that you're an intelligent person, but they just feel like it's, wow, you are someone, they're like, you're really being open with me, you're really being honest with me, you're someone I just feel I could be free and just laugh and etc. Another thing when it comes to this is that when we have these kind of emotional cards, and it's the Fool and it's the Magician, especially these two cards together, and the Knight of Swords, they tend to think that you are someone who's funny, like just a very kind of like witty person. And I say witty because the Magician kind of rules like intellect, so it's not kind of like slapstick humor. So someone who's going to be a little bit more intelligent or have some sort of interesting observations. But I generally get these cards together to represent someone being like kind of funny, especially the Magician, because the Magician is somebody's on a stage. So you could look at this as like the Fool being on stage, which is like a stand-up comic, right? So there's an element of just being like funny to you, being very much like playful energy, someone who may play around with words, who may be a little bit, you may be a little sarcastic, maybe you crack a lot of jokes, maybe you just say some silly things, whatever the case may be, but they do find that you do have a strong sense of humor, and that really stands out with you, and that you're someone who can get very excited when it comes to having conversations, particularly about things that may be a little bit off the beaten path. This is the After Tarot deck, and the Fool's kind of like falling off the cliff here. So it's kind of like taking a very wild risk in something that you have to say. So maybe you say things that are a little bit more like surprising or unexpected. And that to them is, I mean, they like it, to be honest. Sometimes they may feel, because the Knight of Swords can sort of stumble over their words. Sometimes they can be a little bit too wordy. You know, I'm probably being very Knight of Swords right now. Like, I'm generally someone who likes to talk a little too much, especially in tarot readings. That's why they're so long. But but generally, sometimes they may feel like it's a little bit wordy, or maybe you're not saying too much, because the Knight of Swords is about trying to find that balance when it comes to communication. So sometimes the communication is too little, sometimes it's too much, you know, sometimes it's just right, but the Knight of Swords is still learning. And they may feel like, okay, this person might text me a little too much. Maybe they don't text me a little bit enough. Maybe they don't call me enough. Maybe they call me too much, whatever the case may be. It's not like it's received in a poor way. They just have that feeling sometimes where they want a little bit more balance when it comes to the communication. But whatever the case may be, it kind of goes, I'm kind of getting a little bit off track. And I was trying to say that, yes, you can be very humish, you can be very witty, you can be very smart, very observant. But sometimes they're like, man, I wish you wouldn't have said that thing. Or, wow, that's a very blunt thing to say, or a very bold thing to say. Like, it may not be like as appropriate for the situation, or they may just feel like maybe it's like a little bit too, maybe it's not as politically correct, or it's not as polite as they might have wanted. You know, this is the Knight of Swords, not the King or Queen of Swords. So, you know, you're still, in their mind, you're still learning to, what's the word I'm trying to use? You're still learning to, I guess, communicate in a way which is balanced for your connection. There we go. I'll say it that way. Okay. You guys are still trying to find that happy balance together. So sometimes the conversations can be a little bit awkward. Okay. With the Knight of Swords there. Sometimes conversation feels like it's falling flat. Sometimes it feels really amazing, and you really had these deep conversations, and you really connected. And then other times it may feel a little bit like, is this person holding back from me? Am I holding back? Is this like, am I making this awkward? Are they making it awkward? Like they kind of like have that sort of thing in mind. But I think that's normal, especially like if this is not like a long-term dating situation, especially if like you're just someone who like dates a little bit more casually. You're not someone who's being very like, I'm in a committed relationship. And then sometimes even in long-term relationships, you do have to learn to manage how to communicate your needs to someone. And I think they really do see the efforts that you're putting in, especially the Magician. One thing about you is that they know that you're smart. They know that you're beautiful, because the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, generally I get that for very like pleasant looking people. Like they're just like, oh, I find this person to be very physically pleasant to look at. I love how we don't have any pentacles, or, I mean, I guess the Magician has all of the elements to it. So I guess we don't really need all of those things. This is the one time where I would say, if we get something like the Magician, and we're in a spread where we don't have any fire or pentacles or swords or cups or whatever, it kind of doesn't matter, because the Magician represents all of those things. So they feel like you have all of the qualities potentially that someone may need. You may have the consistency. You may have the passion of the wands and the consistency of the pentacles. You may have the intellect of the swords and the swiftness. You may have the intuitiveness and the emotional intelligence of the cups. You know, I mean, like you kind of have all these elements in one person, but the things that are standing out the most to people are your cup energy and your sword energy. Okay. Those are the things that are being like very much more dominant, like this water energy. I don't know if you're a water sign. If not, you know, it doesn't really matter. You could have things in water houses. Like you have stuff in the 8th house, the 4th house, or the 12th house. And that can still come off very like watery. Similar with the swords. Like if you don't have air signs, if you're not an air sign yourself, you could have things in the 3rd house, the 7th house, or the 11th house. And that could be the possibility where you are coming across this way. But generally, yes, they feel that you're somebody who's very free-forming, very excitable, very much someone who has a lot of interesting things to say, who likes to talk about very out-of-the-box topics, who can be someone who's adventurous. They may even think that you're a little bit well-traveled and very well-versed and educated, especially with the Magician here, and very resourceful person, someone who can, you know, turn, you know, string into gold like Rumpelstiltskin or something. What was it? Hay? Whatever he did. Whatever. But they feel like that you could use your environment around you to create and manifest the world that you need to gain everything that you want. It's all about mastering the tools in front of you and being able to use them. And another thing is the Magician is also the messenger between like the heavens and the earth in a way. You see like they're pointing, they're holding the little candlestick up, and it goes both ways. So it's like communication both ways. And the infinity symbol sort of representing an endless, boundless energy, life cycle going on and on forever. So it's almost like constant evolution, constant growth that they see within you. So very much very positive attributes. A lot of success, a lot of efforts being exerted from you to ensure that you are using your creative force. Oh, I almost forgot about creativity. I don't know how I forgot that. Magician represents creativity. The Queen of King of Cups can be very creative cards. And thus they may see that there's an element of creativity to you. And then sometimes when we get the Fool and the Magician, it can represent social media. So they may feel like, oh, this person is very highly involved in social media. Or that you have like various different outlets, because Uranus and Mercury, which is the Fool and the Magician coming together, they can represent having like various different hobbies as well, or even hobbies that may tend to be a little bit unusual or off-beaten. And then, like I already mentioned before, can be like very well traveled with this type of energy here. But honestly, they really do feel like you're really solid at communication. I know I said that sometimes it can be awkward. Sometimes it can be like a little bit like, oh, that they said this thing and I don't know how I feel about that. But for the most part, they really do feel like you're a strong communicator, especially with the Magician here. And then also with the Fool and the Magician, it can represent somebody who has a very changeable appearance. Don't get me wrong, it's still attractive, no matter what you change it to, because it's nestled in between the King and Queen of Cups, and those kind of represent kind of like very attractive, appealing cards. But definitely the people you date may feel like you have a very changeable appearance as well. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention when it comes to this spread here. I think the things that I want to say is that, like, sometimes Mercury can represent like your career, and the Uranus can represent obviously changes. And so when we have these two cards next together, they may feel that like you either have a lot of different jobs, or that you have gone through some kind of major career transitions. So the people you date may feel like, oh wow, you've done a lot of different different works, jobs, changes, different careers. Or maybe you're a little bit of an entrepreneurial, because these two things can represent being an entrepreneur. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm like, my pronunciation is kind of crazy lately. But like it represents being like independent, doing your own thing, and having your own, being like your own boss when it comes to things, especially since we have two authority and leadership cards going on here. And there was something else I was going to say. Yeah, a major career pivot transformation point when it comes to Mercury there. Already mentioned the having the various different hobbies and interests. Sometimes this can be very well read, but it's going to be well read in a way that is going to be like unusual facts. Like this person just knows like random facts about certain things, and that may be like, whoa, how did they even know that random thing? And just being very much so like an open-minded person. Generally, when we have this combination of cards here, they really do think that you're a very smart person in general, is what I'm getting here. Smart, beautiful, hardworking, very independent, free thinker. Free thinker, throw that in there. Free thinker, free thinker. Very much so. I'm trying to think last time like Uranus kind of made an aspect to my Mercury. I think that was a time period where I was really considering like a career transition. So yeah, I was pretty on point with that. Very much like changing and trying out different areas that would be best suited for me. So not afraid to venture off into something new and to welcoming to new challenges. That is generally how the people you date see you. I think I've summarized that, pal. Number 4. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and you know, if this doesn't resonate with you, feel free to choose another pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I'm happy that you stopped by. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Gotta remind you again. And number 3, let's get started on what the people that you date think of you. And this could be people that you just go on dates with. This could be something long term, you know, something, any situation, just people who are within your romantic sphere. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune, the 2 of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the King of Coins, and the 4 of Coins. Okay, so right off the bat, we see that they believe that you are someone who is multifaceted, multi-layered, very dynamic individual, especially with the Wheel of Fortune here. You have a lot going for you. And also Wheel of Fortune can represent just having a very positive mindset or a positive attitude in a sense, because it is connected to Jupiter and abundance and being giving and being very individualistic and having your own sense of style. You could see we have all of the mythological figurines that are connected to several of the signs like Aquarius and Scorpio, and then I believe it is Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and which one am I missing? Leo. There we go. Which mainly have to do with several areas pertaining to having to do with intimacy, creativity, being sociable, along the lines of that. Okay, and so they just feel like you have so many different aspects to your personality. Also being very like grounded is something that they see within you, that you're someone who has transformational abilities. That's what I want to throw in there. Like you have a lot of almost like you've lived like a billion different lives. That's sort of what the people that you date kind of think of you. And with the 2 of Cups here, it's great because generally the people you date feel like you have a lot of chemistry. Maybe you're really great at vetting people beforehand, before going on dates, something along the lines of that. But they generally feel like they have a great vibe or connection with you. Or maybe you're just a really great conversationalist. Maybe you're somebody who's just very open and having a positive mindset, being somebody who is just easy to talk to, very great at listening. I also often see a lot of Jupiterian people in like counselor roles. One of like the therapists I follow on YouTube is like a Jupiterian, I believe Vishaka placement or something along the lines of that. He has Jace, Jesta, and Vishaka going on in his chart or whatever. But definitely the Jupiterian energy comes out where it can be very non-judgmental. Someone who, not saying that Jupiterian people don't judge, but they may not openly judge like to your face, because they know that's not really a smart thing to do strategically to create relationships and bonds. So they feel like you're somebody who's really great at creating connections, creating bonds, and that you have a great concept and understanding of emotional intimacy, and that you are a very open and loving and giving person. So generally, they have this very great mindset when it comes towards you. And this Page of Pentacles here is such a lovely card. And you can see it kind of emphasizes that Jupiterian effect where the page is giving this sort of gnome-like figure a coin. So that generosity really shines through. And we have this Two of Cups where I've already mentioned sort of that connection, that love, that intimacy, that feeling bonded. Generally, the people you date just feel good to be around you. They feel like they're being supported. They're feeling that they're being nurtured. They feel that they're being cared for. They feel like they're being understood. And they feel like you have a very such practical mindset, and you're very just down to earth. And we go from the Page of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. So you don't give too much right away. You give just the right amount of balance and what people need to grow within their connection to you. When I see all these pentacles, it lets me know that the people you date feel like, you know, you like to take things slow, you like to really grow, you like to just ease into relationships or connections that you're building. Nothing's rushed, nothing's fast here. It's all about getting to know each other, getting to understand each other's lifestyles, getting to understand what you both value, or if you're in a polyamorous relationship, what you all value, understanding the boundaries within each other. Pentacles are really great at implementing boundaries, being able to take care of and make sure that both of your needs are met. Tauruses, in general, I think can be very giving, at least my experiences with Tauruses. And then Virgos are also kind of giving in a way, but they can be very particular and a little bit more calculated. And I'm trying to think of the other earth sign. It's early, guys. My brain is like in fart mode, okay? A little bit of a brain fart. Capricorn. Duh, how could I forget the lovely Capricorns? Capricorn's very like career focused and oriented and authoritative as well, and very highly organized. So they may feel like if you're not the one planning the dates, that you have some very good suggestions about things that you may both like, that you may be interested in doing, or great ways to spend the time together and get to know each other. They feel like you're really good at keeping the conversation going in a way that is practical minded, meaning you're not just having conversation just to conversate. You are having conversation for a purpose, to share ideas and to make sure that you are both compatible. So they feel like you're really good at ensuring that you're both compatible and on the same page, no pun intended with the Page of Pentacles here. And they really do feel that sense of comfort when it comes to you. We have all these pentacles, and when we have all these pentacles here, pentacles are kind of like this comfort, relaxing card where things are just very like steady and stable and secure. So they feel like you're generally just a very solid person. Don't get me wrong with the Four of Coins here. It does represent having like moments of insecurity, but ultimately they feel like you're generally just a secure person. And also the Four of Coins can represent not wanting to be, you know, too giving or give away too much, or being a little bit fearful. So they may feel like you hold back a little bit, and maybe that's why things are like a little bit more slow moving. But once you do open up, they feel that it's like very magical and you guys just have a very deep connection. Overall, they feel like you're not someone who is shocking or rocking the boat too much. They feel like there's somebody who they can rely on, who they can easily open up to or be themselves around. There may be, like I said, a teeny bit of a guard at first with the Four of Pentacles here, but ultimately they feel like you're somebody who is worth getting to know in general. Just very, very positive energy going on here. And when we have this sort of Jupiter-like nature to cards, it does let me know that sometimes that you may feel like you need to focus a little bit on your career. And that may be like The only thing that they may feel like, okay, I really wish we could spend more time together, but I understand that you're busy this week. Because I feel like the people you date really, really enjoy your company. But with the Four of Coins here and the Wheel of Fortune being Jupiterian people are known to be helpful for other people. But as the legend goes within astrology, Jupiterian was neglectful towards his own wife, the moon, right? So within relationships, within intimacy, they may feel like they would like to spend more time with you, but they understand that you have other obligations. And I think that may be where this Four of Coins is coming from, because the Four of Coins is kind of like, I don't know about this situation. Is this the right one for me? Is this going to last? Like, does this person really care about me? It's like all these feelings of like insecurity coming in, because they may feel like they're not getting enough quality time together. So that could be something for some of you. Not for all of you, but for some of you. I have to read it as a general reading, of course. But the other hand, the Four of Pentacles is a very consistent and stable card and ensures that they have everything that they need, and they're not going to take all their money and throw it, you know, into some wild investment. So they understand that you're somebody who isn't going to put all their eggs in one basket. So it could also be possible that they feel like you might be dating other people as well, or they just feel like that you don't want to give all your energy to a situation just to have it not work out, when you can just focus on a lot of various different areas of your life. So that could be for an interpretation for some of you that's going on here. Overall, they have a very, very great impression of you. They think you're a sociable person. They think you're really good at creating connections with others. They think you have a lot of like practical insights and knowledge, and that you're someone who can 100% take care of themselves. Someone who is very accomplished when it comes to their career. Somebody who might keep like a tight budget with this Four of Coins here. Somebody who's good with money. Somebody who has a solid moral code or a solid understanding of what they value in this life, because the good thing about the Four of Pentacles is they do have a strong understanding of what they need and what they would like in the future and the things that they find important to themselves. They're not really constantly questioning sort of personal values that they may have. They understand, like, let's say somebody was a strong believer that you should go out and vote. Like, the Four of Pentacles has that solid, strong belief that says, yes, I believe people should go out and vote, or I believe we should live in democracy, or I believe in capitalism or socialism. Like, you have a strong connection to your values, and they can count on you not to sort of like change your values maybe every other week. It takes a lot for Pentacle cards to really switch their way of thinking, is what I have come to understand. Once they have a grip, a firm grip and belief on their own personal thoughts or their own personal beliefs, they kind of stick with that for some period of time. And so they know what to expect when they are approaching you with the topic or approaching you about some certain thing. Like, if you're someone whose favorite color is orange, and then the next week they get you some like an orange shirt, they can expect you to like the color of the orange shirt because your favorite color is orange, versus somebody else who might have a lot of air sign in their chart. They may be like, I don't know if I like orange this week. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm feeling that color anymore. So they can count on you to be stable. Like, if your favorite food is let's say Korean, then they can count on you to always really like going to Korean restaurants. That's what I mean by that stability factor. Not to say that you aren't someone diverse, because obviously that was the first card that we got here, that you are willing to change and you are willing to transform. But for the most part, you are doing so in order to formulate like stronger bonds and stronger relationships. It's not just for the sake of maybe, I don't know, something like intellectual curiosity, which we make it with like the air signs or something like that. Or with the fire sign, you might want to change because that's just how you feel that week. You know what I mean? Fire signs can be very much, I'm inspired by this, so I'm going in this direction now. They don't see that with you, okay? Just want to throw that out there. So they really enjoy your company, really think you're a smart and intellectual individual. That's another thing about the Jupiterian cards, is they are known as the guru, and they're guru for a reason, because they are great at teaching and working with others. If you've ever met people who have Jupiterian aspects in their 7th house, actually I knew someone with this Jupiter in their 7th house, and at one point they were they were a tutor to students, so it's representing like being able to teach others. So I don't know if you are actually in a teacher role, but you may be good at giving advice to others, teaching others. And also this person was good at giving solid advice. So I will say that. So they may feel like you give very solid and understanding advice, and you have a very wise perspective. So that is what I want to say to you, pile number 3. They have a very positive general impression of you, you know, nothing that is very unnerving or anything in the sense. There's just a strong sense of like comfort and love and empathy and understanding when it comes to their connection and how they spend time with you. Just a very like easygoing individual is how they see you. So that is what I have. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If this was not relatable to you, feel free to choose another pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Whatever it is, it's all okay. And I will see you next time, hopefully. Au revoir. Hey pal, number 4, let's get started on your reading on what the people you date think about you. We have the Chariot, the Sun, the Two of Swords, the Page of Cups, and Death. Wow, so many major arcana. They have such a big impression of you, the people that you date. Now, this could be people you casually date or people you form long-term connections with. So let me just put that out there, because everyone's at different places when it comes to their love journey and romantic journey. So with the Chariot and the Sun, they obviously think you're somebody who is either well accomplished or somebody who's highly ambitious with large goals, someone who has a lot of leadership qualities, and someone who just kind of takes sort of like a take charge attitude, especially with the Chariot and the Sun here. This is representative of somebody who really, when I look at the Chariot, I always get it for somebody who's just like so ambitious, wants to take on the world, gets what they set their mind to accomplish. There have been days where, you know, I pulled the Chariot card for what kind of day was going to be, and everything that I set out to do, I got it done. So they see you as that person, just crossing things off your list of things that you want to accomplish and do in life, whether that is your bucket list, your career goals, tasks you have to do for that day. You come across as somebody who's just got their stuff together ultimately. And then the Sun card here represents someone just being so magnetic and bright and full of light. I usually get the Sun card to represent somebody who really stands out, someone who has a great deal of beauty. When I did my Black Beauty study, Uttara Falguni, which is a sun-ruled nakshatra for moon-ruled signs, was the most popular moon placement for beautiful Black women in particular. And it just makes you very magnetic, makes people really like you, makes you very giving. It also makes you very intelligent, because the Sun card is connected to intelligence and being resourceful and being able to use your environment to your benefit. Can also represent, you know, having like a love for children and wanting to be giving and nurturing and thinking just more so in a positive manner, and trying to ensure that you are not focusing on the material things in life, but focusing on things that matter and that bring you fulfillment and substance, things that you can't take with you when you're gone, like this Death card here. They may also see you as somebody who can be very agreeable, because when we have the Two of Swords here, it can kind of represent like sort of a vibe to agree to disagree. Same with the Chariot here. You see how they have these two things going separate ways, and then you have the driver pulling them together. It's kind of like saying, okay, we may not agree on this thing, but maybe we can agree or come to some sort of compromise when it comes to what exactly that we may have issues with. So they see you as somebody who is, you know, willing to step back and not join in when it comes to sort of disputes or conflicts. So this can be a little bit more of a passive type behavior. Like if you have people, you know, arguing or friends disagreeing, you're like, hey, you know what, leave me out of it. I would appreciate, you know, if you guys saw the areas where you agreed on and focused on that rather than the areas that you disagreed on. Like you're someone who wants to sort of like pacify the conflict and not have it get too, you know, out there or too extreme in a sense, right? Very much that type of energy. And I always get the Sun card to be someone who's just generally a good listener in a sense. Someone who is willing to take on other people's issues, but also takes a certain pride within themselves. And definitely they feel like the people you date feel like you take a lot of pride within, you know, your appearance, how you conduct your behavior, the words that you choose, especially with the Two of Swords here. Usually I get that I'm not going to, I'm not going to say anything that's going to put me in trouble type of card. It's that, you know, I'm going to, you know, speak no evil, right? That type of energy going on here. And then also I get the Sun card to represent someone who has a lot of like morals and rules that they stand by, who generally wants more so of like a balanced lifestyle. When from an astrology perspective, I see Sun rule people, I'm talking about the ones who are like a little bit more well adjusted, not the ones who, you know, kind of be a little bit, you know, off their rocker in a sense. The ones that are well adjusted tend to be more balanced in the sense of like, I'm going to make sure that I am kind to myself. I'm going to make sure I'm kind to others. I'm going to be working on my intelligence. I'm going to work on my fitness. I'm going to make sure that I eat healthy. Like they try to look for balance like everywhere in their life. And astrology's Sun card is kind of, the Sun is kind of closest to goodness. It kind of represents that almost like a source of light that you look to when it comes to wanting to live your life in a more like pure sort of way. I don't know how else to describe that. Just someone who has like a high sense of moral character. Okay. That's like for the, you know, good Sun rule people, but, but that's generally it in its purest sense. Like how can I nurture other people around me as well as to make sure that my own brilliance is shining brightly. And that's why the Sun is spewing off its rays in various different areas. And you have all these children laughing and playing and everyone enjoys the company of the Sun. And then with this, very sorry about that, pile number 4. I'm going to take my alarm going off as a sign that yes, you are spreading your rays in lots of different directions. And the people that you're dating can pick up on your warmth, can pick up on your charm, and they feel that strong charisma radiating off of you. And as I was going to say with the chariot connected to Cancer, a lot of Cancer energy has to do with not only sort of like understanding the social rules, social norms, and being super ambitious. Like every Cancer I encounter is like somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, somebody who wants to own their own business, somebody who likes to make their own money, somebody who's like very observant and intelligent, and someone who's like going to make sure that what they set to their mind to, that they get done, as I mentioned before. That is the energy that you're giving off to the people that you date. It is nurturing energy, but it's nurturing in the way that it's more so I want to not only nurture the qualities that I see in other people, but I want to make sure that I'm living the best possible life for myself, that I'm reaching my full potential is what this energy comes from. And then there's a lot more symbolism and stuff to it, but we're not going to get all into that. With the Death card here, we do see an element when it comes to transformation. So the people you date may feel like you may be going through different changes and transformations within your life, or maybe that you've experienced a lot of different changes and transformations within your life. Death card here is somebody who has gone through extreme changes. And that could be like, oh my God, I lost a lot of weight. Or that could be like, you know, I lost a significant other. I have gone through different trials and tribulations, especially with the Chariot here. The Chariot is all about overcoming obstacles, and the Death card can represent going through periods in your life that seem so extreme and seem so out there and amazingly difficult to go through. And they feel like that you have been able to get through these circumstances and come out somebody who has gained some emotional insights and emotional wisdoms and some great lessons when it comes to connecting to others and valuing people's company and valuing people's time and wanting to build and form connections where you can bring happiness and love to each other. And that's what they're getting from you. With the Page of Cup here, it's this very welcoming attitude that they feel like you're extending this cup out them. You're extending this offer of connection, friendship, love, you know, intimacy to them. And they feel welcomed. They feel invited by your energy. So you're giving very intense and powerful energy to the people that you date, and they just really pick up on a positive light that you just shine when it comes to experiencing your presence, is what I'm getting here. So very strong vibes coming from you. With the Page of Cups, it also represents someone who wants to relax, enjoy things in life, take things in, and you know, sit back and relax sometimes. It's not all about the work with you. You do like to put your feet up, especially with the Sun card here. And there's an element that they may find to your personality that can tell on jokes and be kind of playful, and that you can be someone who can be a little bit more silly. And they often just find you to be like a very friendly person. I don't know if you know you come off that way, but to them, they may feel you come off a little bit more friendly. And even to some degree with the Death card and the Page here, because Death card is connected to Scorpio and the Page of Cups is just a water card that represents communication. It can come across as being a little bit more flirty type of energy. So they may feel like you're just kind of like generally like flirty, flirtatious type of person who just enjoys the company of people and who likes to interact with different types of people because it's about learning and connecting. And also the Death card here, and as well as the sign of Cancer. I also find these sign placements, Scorpio and Cancer, to be very giving, especially when it comes to, if not their time and energy, their resources. And in fact, when I was doing a study, and this is in Vedic astrology, the sign Ardra, which in Western astrology falls into the sign of Cancer, was like one of the most giving placements, especially when it came to finances. And they were like most represented in media as like genies. So the people who kind of like grant people's wishes, etc., things like that. So just a very much like a giving placement that you are offering people. And I just feel like that you're giving people a lot of your emotional availability, your time here, because we don't have a lot of like, I mean, Death and Pentacles. Death could be sort of pinnacle related or financial related because it connects to the 8th house, which happens to be resources. But it's mainly like you're giving that emotional support that they feel that they may not get the same amount from someone else. So you're really having a strong emotional impact on the people that you date. And you're providing them with a very open and deep perspective on the way that you view the world and everything. And it's all about having a strong and deep intellectual understanding of human psychology. So they may feel like you just really deeply understand people and you have an intuitive nature for getting to the heart of the matter when it comes to people and really having that sort of empathy and connection with others. So that is what I have for you, pile number 4. You guys come across as just very amazing individuals. You're also someone who just can keep it light. You can keep it funny. You don't have to be this intense person all the time. Definitely people think you're just very clever, very, like I said, attractive, kind of like more so like a sexy individual, because Death card here can represent sort of like a darker type of look. And if you are a woman and you're into this type of aesthetic, it can be kind of like a dark femininity type of vibe if you're a woman. For men, it's just kind of like this dark, handsome individual, tall, dark, and handsome. Maybe you're not even tall, but you come across, maybe your energy's tall in that way. So that is what I have for you, pal number 4. I'm going to end the reading before I blab on forever. And hopefully you liked it. If not, choose another pal, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I'm glad that you stopped by. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time, hopefully. Hey pal number 5, let's get into what the people you date think of you. And this could be something like casual dates, long-term partnerships, whatever the case may be. We're all at different places in our dating lives. So just had to say that because I don't think I said that in the beginning. So the cards that we have are the 9 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, I believe, yeah, and then Justice and 7 of Swords. Okay. Wow. All right. So the people that, you go on dates with, or who you date long term, whatever that may be, they may feel like that you're someone who may be a little bit of a workaholic, because when we have the 9 of Pentacles, obviously we have some great qualities. They think you're independent. They think that you work hard. They think that you're someone who is very capable, someone who is like, who they can feel like she can, or he or she can take care of themselves. They've got a good head on their shoulders. They're down to earth. They're someone who has focus and drive. So you have all of these great qualities. But when we have the 10 of Wands, you might be Mr. or Mrs. Do It Themselves, like Mr. or Mrs. Too Independent, okay? You don't ask for help, because the 10 of Wands is always about the card not asking for help, and you can overwhelm yourself with the amount of responsibilities or tasks that you take on. They feel like that you're someone who just might need to dial it back a little bit, okay? Just a little bit is all I'm saying. You're someone who may be used to doing things on their own without any help from other people. And I think the people that you date feel like they would want to help. They would want to be someone who can help you take care of things. But they don't feel like there's much room for that. They just kind of see you like wearing yourself down, wearing yourself out, and feeling stressed. Like they see the visible stress on you. Okay? So the people that you date want you to let go of those responsibilities. They want to be the one helping. Look at this 9 of Wands here. You see how this person, the 10 of Wands, is overwhelmed. They dropped all of their wands. They're looking at the ground. They're like, I can't handle all of this. I can't handle all this being thrown at me. And then you go to the 9 of Wands here on the After Tarot deck, and this person has company. The Wounded Warrior is somebody who has somebody to help fight their battles. So the people that you date want to be the ones helping you fight your battles. They want to be the ones who help you take on your struggles, who can help you carry the load. They want to be on your side, helping you to fight your battles, to defend things, to tackle things. They want you to lean on them more. And they feel like you're not someone who is doing that, or maybe it takes you some time to open up and let people in so that they can be able to help you take on some of the tasks and some of the load. They ultimately see you as somebody who's generally a compassionate individual, because usually 9s represent, you have 2 9s here, humanitarianism and compassion and idealism, and focusing on helping other people. And so they find you to be someone who can be very generous, who can be very kind, who can be open to helping others. Maybe that's why you have this 10 of Wands energy. Maybe you're taking on a lot of responsibilities that just aren't yours. You know, maybe somebody comes by and says, oh, hey, could you like run this to the copier really quick for me? and you're the one who's willing to just say, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. Like, it's more so saying yes to everything. The Ten of Wands is that energy that has zero boundaries. They don't have any boundaries. They say yes to everything. And because of that, they get overwhelmed and frustrated and stressed out and exhausted. Okay? Ten of Wands is all about practicing to say no and saying, you know what, I can't do this for you right now, this time. Would love to help out, but I actually have a lot on my plate and some things that I need to take care of. So you are very helpful to people. It's exhausting you. Your dates see that on you. They see the wear and tear that your responsibilities are taking on you. And they also would like to be able to help you with whatever it is that you have going on in your life. And they also see that you, like I said before, you're a charitable person, you're a giving person, you're a wise person, because the nines represent wisdom and intelligence, and that you are very, very experienced, because nines are also cards that represent an accumulation point of having gone through a lot of various different highs and lows and peaks. It's about closer to moving on to new beginnings as well. Same with the tens. Tens and nines are all about endings and new beginnings. And so your dates feel like you're someone who's ready for a new start, something fresh. They may even feel like, if this isn't like responsibility work related, that you may have had like a past where you've dealt with a lot of people who just stressed you out, like who just were like, man, you are not the support system I need within my relationship. And then this can also be that you were single for quite some time. Sometimes with the 9 and the 10 of Wands here, it can represent like a longevity, a long period of singleness going on here as well. And then obviously something that's very important that I'm sure you would appreciate hearing is that your dates find you extremely attractive, especially when I get the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is like this overwhelmingly passionate feeling. And so they feel that way towards you, where they're like, wow, this person is like spicy. They've got the look. They are absolutely stunning, right? When I get this like wand energy. Granted, wands is more like, you know, sexual attraction, etc. So they may just feel like you've got that, you know, va-va-boom, okay? Definitely very reflective person. But let's go on to the rest of the cards, right? With Justice and Seven of Swords. See, Seven of Swords and this Nine of Pentacles here keeps going on about this need for like independence and doing it yourself and running away from things that are balanced, because here's Justice and here's the Seven of Swords. So it's like the Justice card, it's like the Seven of Swords, which is about like running away from issues and or being sneaky and etc., things like that, is running away from Justice, which is about balance and fairness. So it's like you're running away from having balance in your life, okay? Or even just like I said before, with these two combinations can mean like a lot of singleness. Justice is connected to Libra and relationships. And this could be you running away from relationships, running away from commitment, running away from partnerships and strong communication and deep intimacy. Or somebody who just will not let other people in, because maybe with the Seven of Swords, they run away because they feel like, you know, they've done something wrong, or maybe they don't fit in, or, you know, they won't be accepted. And maybe you're like running away. They feel like you're running away from relationships because maybe you feel like you aren't ready, or you feel like somebody can't add anything positive, or maybe not as much positive as they might add more so negative into your life. Or maybe you've never encountered a situation or relationship that's been healthy and balanced. This is their impression. This may not even be true at all, okay? But this is what they are kind of like picking up from you, where they feel like you are someone who wants to be this lone wolf type of character, who isn't quite fully open to the idea of a relationship. Now, if this doesn't speak to you guys, if this is just like some of you, and some of you are listening to this and you're like, I can't relate to this. I'm really open to love and I really want to be in a committed relationship, then this is probably not the pile for you. I would suggest you choose another pile, because this pile right here is all about being Mr. or Mrs. Independent. It is all about pulling away from relationships, pulling away from commitment, pulling away from like having some sort of balance within your life, some sort of healthy balance when it comes to getting your needs met, instead of like maybe having a past where you are constantly meeting your partner's needs or being flexible. It reminds me of, like, I was watching Sex and the City, one of my favorite shows, and I was just watching it today, and it was an episode about, the whole show's about relationships, but in this relationship, they were talking about how women always kind of have to, like, be the ones to integrate into a man's life, and I find that so true, because I have seen so many men make these requests where it's like they want a woman to just go along with their plan. Now, you may not be a woman, you may not be a man, whatever the case may be. I'm just trying to make a point where the cards are kind of trying to emphasize where they feel like you, despite whatever gender you are, they feel like you're someone who may have had to sort of like mesh yourself into someone else's will, someone else's path. Like, you had to be the flexible one. You had to be the one to compromise. You had to be the one to, follow somebody else's lead. And it's not been a great situation for you. You have not found that to be ideal. And thus, you may have like gone to a more so like hyper independent state, hyper independent role, because you felt like there was not great balance within your connections or relationships or dates. You felt like they wanted something from you that was not authentic to yourself. And so thus you had to like move away from that, get away from that, and just say, sorry, I just don't see it. I don't want that. I don't feel like this is right for me. Another thing is, for some of you, and this may be a small portion of you, is that they may not feel like you're completely honest when it comes to presenting, I don't know, yourself or who you are. I'm guessing it's yourself or who you are, because what else could you be like being dishonest about? And I only mention that because the Seven of Swords does rule trickery, and we have Justice representing like truth, and this is like saying, okay, they would like the truth, but they feel like they're not quite getting it. Like I said, Justice is blind here, and the Seven of Swords is wide awake and sneaky and and trying to like get what they can do out of the get what they can get out of the situation, right? Very strategic type of thinking, trying to skirt around justice, right? Trying to pull a wool over someone's eye, right? So some of them can think that you're very sneaky or something like that. Or like they may feel like, oh, this person's trouble. Like they might, they might ruin my life or something like that. I don't know. Like, that's a small portion of you, but I have to mention it because those two cards are together. And let's be honest, like when we have those two cards together about like honesty right next to deceit, and then the Nine of Wands being very guarded. Generally, it's probably just saying that there's probably some things that you aren't telling them. That's probably the most realistic interpretation. I doubt you guys are all like some kind of manipulative liars or something. But but lots of people are guarded. That's not unusual. And I think the cards are just reflecting that situation. So they feel like that it may be you're not opening up about certain things. And that's something that they see. But overall, they do seem to believe that you are someone who is fair, who's intelligent, who is independent, as I mentioned before, who works hard, who can do things on themselves, who can be very charitable and giving and passionate and energetic, and someone who can be a great communicator. Maybe you even tell people what they want to hear a lot, because sometimes we get Justice and Seven of Swords, be like, oh, I'm going to try to mold myself to what someone wants to hear. Or maybe you feel like you've had a past where it just didn't quite work out in terms of like how your relationships have been. Maybe you're the person who's met the kind of like strange, sneaky individuals going on here, and they're sort of picking up and feeling like, oh wow, this person has gone through a lot of different struggles and kissed a lot of frogs to end up in my presence, right? And so that is what I have for you, pal. Number 5. I hope that things are less stressful from here and out from here forward. That things are light, peaceful, wonderful. And if things are already like that, may they stay like that. And feel free to choose another pile. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Au revoir.